What's going on? This is the Golden Boot Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we're talking Tennessee volunteer football. That's right. Tennessee Vols.
Do we have to?
Yes, we have to. I'm sorry, Vandy Chris. My name is George Hancock. I'm your host tonight, joined as always by Cody Slavinsky and Vandy Chris. See, I switched it up. I said Cody first and you second. That way people don't think these are totally just legit, like scripted. They're not.
Far from it.
All from the cuff. All right, so we are talking Tennessee football. Before we get started, just want to make sure and get everybody to understand how important it is. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You guys have been killing it on YouTube. Our Florida video is now over 2,000 views. Georgia video is real close to it. If you hate us, if you like us, leave a comment. We'll definitely be doing a reaction video soon from some negative comments. And boy, are there some doozies. Apparently none of us know football. So, hey, I'm good with that. If you just want to keep throwing that in my face, I'm perfectly fine with that. But, just a little tidbit, when your dumpster fire of a program goes 3-9, don't come crying. All right, so let's get this thing started. Tennessee football. Now, I know that there was a lot of hype last year. Josh Heupel's built a fantastic program over the last however many years he's been there. I don't have it in front of me. He's been there for a little bit. He's built a solid program, solid roster. This year, the hype train is in Tennessee, man. There is a lot of buzz around Tennessee. So let's go over the roster.
Sure. Man, this is a stacked Tennessee roster this year. I am extremely high on this team. So I think there's a very high ceiling for the team overall, and I think they can live up to it. I mean, at wide receiver, they are stacked. You got Brew McCoy coming back, who this guy should be in the NFL. He is a very good wide receiver. You have Squirrel White, who went to my alma mater, Clay Chalfle High School in Alabama. Go Cougars. And obviously that man's a deep ball threat. He can catch anything. But you have a key piece that is a game changer coming in, a very consistent receiver, Chris Brazell II. He's coming in from Tulane. The dude has good hands on him. He's very fast. He can make plays in space. This guy, be excited for him because I have a feeling that his name will be said quite a bit this year. But the big thing is, though, you got Nico finally getting the keys to the kingdom. And I feel like I think he's ready. I really do. I thought he did really good in their bowl game last year. I mean, obviously, you're not going to release all the big plays with him, but the way he managed that game against a very stout defense, I really believe that he is going to be that guy this year. Now, I'm not going to go out and say, oh, well, Tennessee 12-0. Win the SEC championship, go on and run through the playoff. I'm not calling that for any team this year because at the end of the day, now that you got 16 teams in the conference is very, very, very compressed because there's a lot of good teams this year. Even the lower half has good talent. There are teams in the SEC this year that are going to finish with well below 500 records, but be a team that could essentially win other conferences because it's just that deep this year.
Right.
With Tennessee, on the other hand, I think they have the talent to continue what they've started under Heupel. And, I mean, obviously on the offensive line, they're stacked. You got Cooper Mays coming back at center, who is one of the best linemen in the country.
Yep.
A big piece that's coming in, though, that really excites me for them is Lance Hurd. He transferred from LSU. He's a guy that is – honestly, he's one of the best offensive linemen in the country as well. The problem is when you're stuck behind Emory Jones and Will Campbell, there's nothing you can do. I mean, that's two first-round draft picks right there. And unfortunately for him, which he could be a future first-round pick, he's that good. You're just not going to jump those guys. And instead of waiting his turn, he made the move to go ahead and go to Tennessee and get on the field. I don't blame him. I hated to see him leave LSU as an LSU fan, but I'm extremely happy for him to get a new start in Knoxville. And I'm loving this offense. But the defense, though, that is where I get even more excited for this team. return a ton of guys. I mean, I'm talking about veteran after veteran after veteran. This is a very experienced defense. And, the guy that I'm really looking for to see as a big, big presence this year is going to be Arion Carter. He's a sophomore, but, man, the dude is talented. He's strong. I mean, he is going to be a big playmaker for them this year. Mm-hmm. I love the roster. I am very high on them. This is a rare video we're going to make where I am gushing over a team. But Tennessee this year, I'm excited to see them hit the field. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I want to hear what the Vanderbilt Commodore captain has to say about them Tennessee Volunteers. Go ahead, Chris.
So, first things first, let me address this by saying, if I throw up a little bit in my mouth, just look over it, because it's a natural reaction when I talk about this team. But
you're not going to sing Rocky Top?
Oh, hell no.
Go ahead, Brew McCoy.
But you mentioned Brew McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
From all indications from practice film that I've seen and highlights of their practices, this guy is bad.
Mm-hmm.
This dude he should be in the NFL.
He really should.
You bring up Squirrel White. Might be one of the fastest players in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
You bring up Nico. Yes, it was a very vanilla offense in the bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of check downs, a lot of designed runs. But if you can do what he did against that defense, there's more in the tank.
Yeah.
Defensively, well, before I get to the defense, you bring up the offensive line. Cooper Mays, in my opinion, is the best center in the country.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, all things I'm going to say about Tennessee tonight hinge on Cooper Mays staying healthy, which is something he struggled with in his career.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, defensively, I don't know if you saw it or not. ESPN named James Pierce best player in the country.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
What he did in the bowl game against Iowa, nasty.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the fair takeaway from that is Iowa's offense was just nasty too. So how much of that was because Iowa was bad that made him look good? I don't know.
I think it's both.
What I know is that he showed up and he showed out when he got the chance.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
The secondary is going to be revamped. This might be, and I'll preface this by saying I think Vanderbilt's going to have the most improved defense in the conference, because you can't go much worse than 14th. I mean, you could always go 16th, but Vanderbilt's defense is going to be vastly improved. I think Tennessee's might be improved just as much, if not more.
Coming from you, that is saying a lot, by the way.
I'm surprised you didn't projectile vomit while saying all of that. But I mean, I could have had Rocky Top playing in the background, and it was,
hell no.
And people would have thought you were a homer. That's how respectful you were of Tennessee.
That's how that
was.
I
mean, but that just shows how good Tennessee really is going to be this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just can't deny the talent.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Nico, the only thing I can say about him is watch out, because if he plays as well as he's projected to play, I mean, we're going to look at the schedule here in a minute, but I mean, could Tennessee potentially have a Heisman? I mean, it would be, that'd be something.
It would be.
But let's take a look at the schedule here.
Sure.
Because here we go. The regular season, they start August 31st, Chattanooga. Then they have NC State in Charlotte. Then they have Kent State. Then they open up the SEC with Oklahoma, at Oklahoma. Then
that's
October
a fun
5th
game.
Then they go to Oklahoma, to Arkansas. They're home at Florida, or home. They have home versus Florida. I can't talk. Home versus Alabama. Home versus Kentucky. home versus Mississippi State, at Georgia, home UTEP, at Vanderbilt. So there is the total schedule there. First glance, gentlemen, they very well could be 6-0 immediately right out of the gate based off of this right here. I mean, the only one that I circle, and I know Florida fans are going to absolutely lose their mind, but we always play Florida so well, or we play Tennessee so well. Well, here's the deal. I think the only one that you can circle that would give them a challenge is Oklahoma in this. That's the only one I can circle, and the only reason I say that
I think NC State.
Well, NC State is projected to be really good. That's going to be a really good ball game. But I as far as opening the SEC versus Oklahoma at Oklahoma, SEC play opening up. I mean, this is going to be Oklahoma's. I would assume their first SEC game is against Tennessee to welcome them into the SEC. That is going to be a knockdown drag out. I don't care. You might as well erase the talent on both teams. Opening up the SEC season for both these teams against each other is going to be a fun ball game.
Absolutely.
NC State's going to be a fun one, but I think I'm going to circle that one right there, Oklahoma. But realistically, I could see 6-0 right off the bat. Then you got Alabama at home, Kentucky at home, Mississippi State at home. So you have 4 games at home: Florida, Alabama, Kentucky, Mississippi State. Then you have Georgia, UTEP, and Vanderbilt. Guys, I'm going to say this. There is a potential that we could very much see an 11-1 Tennessee team.
We could.
Very, very much so. I mean, it would take a miracle, but they'd have to get crafty with Georgia. But it's hard to win in Athens.
Yes,
but I mean, 10-2, 11-1 is not out of the question. First glance on this schedule.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think?
And another thing too is, I mean, I think the absolute worst that Tennessee can do this year is 8-4. That is the absolute worst.
And that would be devastating for them.
Yeah, and that would be NC State, Oklahoma, Alabama, and Georgia. I think would be the four games that they would lose if they were to lose 4 games. I don't see them losing 4 games.
I don't either.
I really think this is a very manageable schedule for them. Obviously, NC State in Charlotte is not an easy task to early in the season, but lucky for them, they get Chattanooga to kick off. That is a situation for them to have a good tune-up going into that. With NC State, you have Grayson McCall coming in for them, who is, a fantastic quarterback at Coastal. So I think that he's ready for that step up, and I think that NC State's going to give Tennessee everything they can handle. I don't think it's going to be a game that reflects what the season's going to be for Tennessee. I think that game is going to be a lot closer than it should be, but I still see Tennessee pulling that one out. And then obviously Kent State's another win, but then at Oklahoma, I think that crowd is going to be one of the coolest crowds that you see all year because Oklahoma's first game in the SEC and you get an opponent like Tennessee, that's just awesome. Tennessee fans are going to travel, whether they're in the stadium or not, they're going to be there. And it's going to be very loud. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I actually I would like to see Oklahoma, Tennessee become some kind of rivalry because I think that would be just a very, very fun thing to see. I mean, Oklahoma already hates the color orange. So keep it going. And then, on the road at Arkansas is the unknown team of the SEC. And that's going to be fun to watch. I still think Tennessee wins that game, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Florida, we already know how I feel about Florida. Alabama is the team. Again, there's a big question mark with them. We know the talent's there, but it's a new coaching staff, a new scheme in general. So by then, Alabama should be dialed in, and I think we'll get a good game. I really hope that it lives up to what it was a few seasons ago when it was just epic. I would like to see that. Kentucky, I think, is also going to be a very good game. I'm giving them Mississippi State easily. As weird as it is for me to say, Georgia is the team that I think has a chance to have one of the most amazing seasons in the history of the sport. But I feel like Josh Heupel is due. I genuinely believe it. I think that he is due to pull out a win in Athens. And I feel like if there was a year for him to have the team that can do it, it is this year. UTEP's a win. Unfortunately for you, Chris, Vanderbilt is also a win for Tennessee. I'm going to be honest here. Tennessee has a team that can go 12-0 this year. I'm going to stick with my 11-1 just to be, safe with it. But Tennessee very well has a team that can go 12-0 this year. So if you're watching this, Tennessee fans, I'm high on your team. Like I said, the worst you do is 8-4. I don't see 8-4 happening. That is just the absolute most dumpster fire year Tennessee could have this year is 8-4.
Yeah.
Right. 11-1 is my prediction. 12-0, I believe it could happen.
Chris?
Okay. North Carolina State. I actually have them in the ACC championship. They're that. I think Tennessee handles business there. The Oklahoma game, that's another one I have earmarked. Guess what? Josh Heupel's going home. Tennessee travels better than any team in the country. And when I say they travel better than any team in the country, all you got to do is look across the screen at the guy wearing the purple, and he can tell you what they do to other teams' stadiums. They will take over that building.
That was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life.
I have no doubt that that's going to happen. So I think Josh Heupel is going to have something cooked up for Oklahoma. There's a lot of pent-up hard feelings on his end, and I think he's going to have something dialed up for them. So I don't think there's any chance Oklahoma wins that game. Alabama. I'm not high on Alabama this year. I think they're an 8-4 football team. And I think Josh Heupel's got Alabama's number a little bit. Every game he's had against them has either been right down to the wire or they've won.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tennessee handles business in that game. Kentucky, I'm not sold on. I'm not high on them at all. Tennessee wins that by 3 touchdowns easily.
Wow.
Brock Vandagriff isn't going to be their savior.
No, I don't believe that for a second. Not when they're talking about running 2 quarterbacks out there.
Right. Go ahead.
If he was that guy, they wouldn't be talking about running a 2 quarterback team.
Sure.
But Georgia, I mean, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I want to beat Tennessee, we just, that's a different animal up there this year. I don't think that we. If you call losing by 3 touchdowns respectable, I think we can keep it respectable. But I don't think there's any way Vanderbilt challenges Tennessee. I got Tennessee going 11-1.
Yeah.
And being one of the 4 SEC teams in the college football playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, here, wow, you heard it here. I wish I had. I mean, never thought I'd hear Vandy Chris say that. But here's the thing. And as we wrap this thing up, I will say this. I'm sorry, Chris. Tennessee is not getting beat by New Mexico State. So, I mean, that's in essence, that's what Vanderbilt is. New Mexico State 2.0, and so
Are you saying Tennessee? Are you saying Tennessee is no Auburn?
Tennessee is no Auburn. That's right. So, yeah, I'm gonna. So our official prediction, Cody, yours. Go ahead. Yours first.
11-1.
Chris.
11-1, one of 4 SEC teams in the college football playoffs.
I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna say 10-2. They drop one they're not supposed to. But it's literally. They're gonna have a great season, and Tennessee fans, you should be excited. So, there you have it. That is our prediction and preview for Tennessee Volunteers. Hey, make sure if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. This has been the Golden Boot Podcast. For myself, Andy Chris, Cody Slavinsky, stay golden. We will see you next time.